so excited today. And my name is Chelsea Andrews. I am the Afterschool HQ Head of Engagement and Partnerships. Anna is on my team. She's here on the chat as well. And then we also have Trey Blunt. He is our Director of Sales and Marketing. So we've got, I have a little bit of an echo there on someone. I'll mute that. So we've got two guests who are here from Afterschool Alliance. I have asked them, this is very admittedly, I've asked them to introduce Afterschool Alliance to the room as well, because I'm sure that our language might be different. But if you are someone who has a youth program and you're aware of like state networks and the after school and out of school space and the national landscape, Afterschool Alliance is like the who's who of the national landscape with research and policy and advocacy and so much. So we have two guests who are here today. We have Tiyana Glenn and we have Sophie Kidd. I have their bios next to me. I'm not going to read them verbatim, but I am going to highlight some things. So our guests as well, if there's anything that you would like to pull out of your background and add an exclamation point to or clarify, I introduce you or I invite you to do that as well. So we have Tiyana Glenn here. She is the project manager. Is that still your current title, Tiyana? It is? Okay, perfect. She's the project manager for innovation and outreach. She focuses on national field building initiatives for Afterschool Alliance. She has come into the Alliance working as a program director for after-school programs and for an out-of-school time intermediary. So if anybody has questions about intermediaries, we can maybe pose that question or raise that question as well. She's also currently a board member for a few different after-school or out-of-school time organizations. She's a grant reviewer in the field. So there's a lot of different things that she can speak to. And then her colleague that we have here as well is Sophie Kidd. She's the project associate for innovation and outreach. Is that title still current for you, Sophie? Awesome. Great. Then she came on as a project associate for Afterschool Alliance, their field outreach and the research team, but she's focusing now a little bit more into this space. So she talks to different groups along with Tiyana all over the country. And she focuses on updating the after-school field on new research and evaluations, highlighting best practices and promising after-school programs like y'all and your education programs, and advocating for ways to strengthen all of our collective efforts and the Alliance's efforts. So with that, they are going to give us a presentation, but it's also pretty interactive, I believe you had said. So I'm going to turn this over to Sophie and Tiyana. Oh, also very quickly before I do that, Trey, did we have anybody else that had given an introduction that was here in the room that we wanted to name? Or we can hold
Yeah,
up.
we did have a few introductions come in through the chat, Robert and Nathaniel. But yeah, we can continue moving along. We can circle back to those at the end.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, Tiyana and Sophie, take it away.
All right. Thank you so much, Chelsea. I feel like I need you to go wherever I go because that was like such a flattery introduction, not only to Afterschool Alliance, but for Sophie and I. So we greatly appreciate you for doing that. And we are so happy and ecstatic to be here with you all today. So again, my name is Tiyana, and then you'll be joined by Sophie. I will be kicking off our presentation and be passing off to Sophie in just a little bit. But our session here is going over after-school messaging. So you'll learn not only about the Afterschool Alliance, but you'll learn some research about our field and the after-school world. And then also we'll be having an interactive, but not super interactive, so please don't leave us, an interactive activity where you will learn how to craft your message. So that way when you go out to funders or within your community, you will know how to advocate and really pitch your program. Let's see if technology is going to work with me today as we click through these slides. All right. We're going to get there. Perfect. Again, my name is Tiyana Glenn, project manager at Afterschool Alliance, like Chelsea mentioned. So in a nutshell of what Chelsea mentioned, you named it, you name it, I done it. I tell folks, I've dibbled and dabbled in a whole bunch of things in the after school field. And I tell folks, this is my passion. This is my jam. This is what I do. So I'm really happy to be here with you all today. And then of course, I'm joined by Sophie. Sophie, anything you want to come off mute to add about your bio, even though Chelsea did a great job?
Awesome. Yes, no, absolutely. Thank you all so much. I'm so happy to be here today and have the great pleasure of working with Tiyana. on the innovation and outreach team. I'm a child of after school, worked in after school programs growing up, dabbled in a little bit of the research side after college, and now so happy to be at the Alliance. Yeah, and that's it for me for now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sophie. So, Chelsea, your 2 lines of describing that school alliance was really perfect. I liked what you said there too. I feel like I need to go back and watch this recording so I can add it to my own notes. But I guess in short, our mission, as you see here on the screen, is just to ensure that children and youth have access to high quality after school programs, summer programs, so that way they can not only help their families, but their communities thrive. So we focus not only on after school, even though our name is Afterschool Alliance, we do focus on summer opportunities as well. So that way we are ensuring that there is access and equity within the lens of the field. And just to break that down, just even more to different subcategories of what we do, I tell folks if we don't do anything else, we research. So we have a lot of research and a lot of data points to support the field. A lot of times when you go to national conferences and you see data points on a screen, they're probably coming from us because we have a full research team in which Sophie was a part of, but I was able to snag her onto our innovation outreach team now, but she has that wealth of information still handy in her back pocket. So we have a lot of research that's not only nationwide, but we have statewide focus data as well. So definitely make sure if you haven't had a chance to go to our website and you're looking for specific data for your state, it is on there. And we'll go over some top tools and techniques that we have as far as like things on our website towards the end of the presentation. We also do messaging and advocacy tools. So hence why we're here today, we're here to talk to you about messaging your after school program. We will help you find and sustain funding. So while we do not have funding to give you all, I wish we did, because there's a lot of great programs out there. We will help you find them though. We'll help you find the dollars. We do administer a grant with the New York Life Foundation called the Aim High program. Not sure if you all are familiar with it.
Good afternoon now. I'm calling from
All right. Well, hello, Miss Farah. It was nice to hear from you. So I hope I hear from you later on today while we do this interactive activity. But speaking of the Aim High program, just to throw it out there, it is open. The RFP is open and it's specifically for middle school, out of school time youth. So if you are not familiar with that, again, we'll have a link towards the end of our session today, so that way you learn more about that dedicated funding stream. We partner with state and local allies. So we do have the 50-wide state after school networks that we partner with, that we give a lot of our resources down to. We have after school ambassadors, which are our boots on the ground people that we train to advocate for after school rights within their areas. And then we also have national allies and coalitions. So I guess we can say that AfterSchool HQ is one of our allies now. And then we also work with other organizations in the field. So the National After School Association, the National Summer Learning Association, and other organizations of similar capacities. And then last but not least, I tell folks, if you don't know us for anything else outside of doing research, we are the Lights On After School folks. So if you heard our Lights On After School, that's us. Yeah, we help coordinate that. That's what we do. So this is our national rally that we ask folks to participate in to shine a light on after school programming. You all are doing great work out there in the communities, and we need for folks to know so that way we can sustain the funding and we can sustain these programs. So this happens once a year in October, where again, we pull folks all over the country to shine a light within their programs. So if you follow us at the Afterschool Alliance, as we get closer to October, there will be plenty of webinars and plenty of resources to learn how you can do your own Lights On After School event within your program. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Sophie to go over some important research in our field. Sophie, off to you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Tiyana. Okay, everybody bear with me. I am recovering from a little cold, so excuse me if I need to clear my throat every couple minutes or so, but so excited to be with you all today. As Tiyana mentioned, love chatting and talking about research. So we're going to dive into that for a little bit just to ground us in this presentation. Just a couple disclaimers, because I know everybody always wants to know. These slides will be shared with you afterwards. We have our emails at the end if you have any questions or any concerns, comments, all that jazz. And all the information you're going to see is available on our website. I can show you how to get to it. We've got tons of tools, just like Tiyana mentioned before. And also, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Tiyana will let me know if I miss anything, and let's get into it. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to start with our America After 3 p.m. survey. This is our huge household survey that we've been administering since 2004 to families all across the country. And since we've been doing that survey in 2004, now we're seeing the highest level of unmet demand since we've started doing this survey. So if a program was available, 25 million children would be enrolling in an after-school program. And as you can see, this is the highest demand that we've ever seen throughout the entire America After 3 p.m. survey. And more students than ever are missing out. This is a stat that I refer to a lot when I'm talking about the work that we do. So for every child in a program, there are 4 more waiting to get in, as you can see there. And in addition to America After 3 p.m. research that we do, we also have research where we survey program providers. This that you'll see on the screen right here is from our After School in the Time of COVID-19 survey. We've been surveying after school providers since May of 2020, just to kind of see what's on their mind, how they're dealing with the pandemic, what's going on. And we've done 9 waves of that survey, actually, and this is from the 9th wave. You can see all the differences. We have got like a kind of retrospective on our website if you're interested. But when we were asking providers what their biggest concerns were, and maybe you're seeing these in your programs as well, really staffing shortages, student wait lists are really on the top of folks' minds. And this is a survey of over 10,000 programs across the country, and you can see 20% of those programs were operating at reduced capacity. And of those 20% of programs, 75% of those programs said that was due to staffing shortages. So really, really seeing that. And you can also see almost half of programs have a wait list. So definitely something to think about. And then also we're seeing barriers to participation are definitely higher for low-income families. We're seeing barriers like program cost, lack of available programs, no space in a preferred program, as well as those transportation issues are really big and salient for lower income households. You can see those differences there. And as a result of these barriers, the unmet demand for after school has increased and is greater among low income families. So you can see, yeah, those differences are really important to think about for sure. And unfortunately, after school funding has not kept up with the rate of inflation. I know we are feeling inflation everywhere, and unfortunately also in after school funding. This decline really comes as public investments in after school programs have stalled and really not kept up with growing demand. And you can see here, adjusted for inflation, 21st Century Community Learning Centers, that's abbreviated as 21 CCLC. That's the only federal funding stream that's only dedicated to out of school time, which is after school and summer learning programs. It's approximately 80 million below the 2013 level. So these are not like small numbers that we're talking about for sure. But I want to give you all some positives as well, because I think that's important. So good news is that there is so much voter support for after school. So you can see here, 8 in 10 voters want more funding for after school. And this is the biggest increase that we've seen since we've been doing this research since 2006. You can scan this handy dandy QR code and you can see the results from this survey that we did with over 1,400 voters. We've got a couple different briefs about this voter work, super important. And yeah, we have so just kind of to recap all the different kinds of research we've got America After 3 p.m. We've got survey data from providers. We've got survey data from parents, which I'll get to in just a little bit. And we've got survey data from voters. So we've got a ton of different things that you can look at and discover on our research side. Awesome. And so through this voter survey, we also did some messaging research, which is very important when you're thinking about how to pitch your program to funders or other things like that. So we'll dive into that really quickly. So awesome. So wonderful. So the top takeaways from the messaging research really were that voters support after school. Just like I was mentioning in those slides before, this support is high. This is across political affiliations, across community types, racial and ethnic groups, age groups. It's all across the board. So you all have a lot of support behind you, which is awesome to hear. Another thing that really resonated with voters was kind of connecting tangible problems with solutions. And so kind of seeing a greater need to increase funding when voters can see how that funding is going to overcome the problem. So for example, we posed the problem of the pandemic to voters in this survey that we did. And we also paired it with the ways that after school program can address some of the challenges that have come from the pandemic, which could be things like addressing learning loss or letting peers connect with each other, providing opportunities to build life skills, like the list goes on and on. And so when we paired those two things together, the intensity of support for after school from voters definitely went up, especially with parents. So that was really important and also cool to see. Another thing we saw was really broadening the notion of safety. Definitely still concerned around how students spend those hours from 3 to 6 p.m. after school, but really the focus is a lot more holistic and really expanding that definition of safety to talk about things that meet all of children's core needs. And then we also really want to encourage folks to define the benefits of your program. So this is the time you have to brag on your program about all the wonderful things that you all are doing that are changing students' lives, social and academic impacts of after school for young people. Make sure that you're saying all the wonderful things that your program is doing. Awesome. And then I couldn't forget about parents as well. So this is from a spring 2022 national survey that we've done of parents. And as always, we've got more info if you need it. And so we asked parents, we gave them a huge list of options, and we said, how important were each of the following reasons in selecting your child's primary after school program? And parents shared a ton of the following. So it's really all about those holistic supports for kids. Academics are really a part of, but not the whole story. We saw things like building life skills, participating in science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM activities, computer science, getting to go outside, getting to hang out with friends, connect with peers, create mentorship relationships. Ton of these things were high priorities. So awesome. And oh my gosh, hi, Coach B from Together Friends. Very cool. Awesome. Okay. And then we are going to move on to crafting a winning elevator pitch. Okay. So I want you all to keep all that information in the back of your minds. And now we're going to think about what it means to create a winning elevator pitch. So imagine, let's do a little exercise with me. You've stepped into an elevator with the President of the United States, maybe an elected official, could be a city council member, or even a parent of a school-age child that you might want to have join your program. And you've got 30 seconds until they get off at their floor. What are you going to say so that they remember you and they remember your program? And so before we kind of dive into that, I'll clarify and sort of define what an elevator pitch is. So an elevator pitch is a practiced, like roughly 30-second speech that's memorable and captures the core of what your program offers. And something really important to highlight, a really ideal elevator pitch is going to include a call to action or some kind of actionable next step for the person that you're speaking with. And so now I'll get into what we've got on this slide here. So when you're crafting an elevator pitch, make sure that you include these following tips. These are things that we've seen that have really been helpful for folks. So first of all, keep it concise. I know we might not always be on an elevator when we're doing an elevator pitch, but I think it's still good to really keep it around 30 seconds. Focus on the most important aspects of your work, kind of see how you can capture it in the briefest possible way. And this also kind of gives room for folks to ask follow-up questions after your pitch. You can see what they're interested in, and you have that room if your pitch is a little bit more concise. Also really important to know your ask. This should be different based on who you're talking to. So for example, if you're talking to a parent, like I mentioned earlier, maybe you want them to sign up for your program or come to an open house. That pitch is going to look a lot different from if you were in the elevator with an elected official. You might want to be thinking about timing, what's coming up, is there an election on the horizon? A good go-to is to ask them to visit a program, or maybe if you're planning a lights on after school event, hint, hint, you could always invite them to that. And also we want to note, make sure you check in with your program admin on about what you can ask based on your nonprofit employee status. Always want to make sure we include that in there as well. And this is my favorite, a memorable stat. These are so great to include. Talking about how you're helping students be more prepared for school is amazing, but showing that impact you're making is even better. And I will speak from my own elevator pitch experience. A stat that I like to include when I'm talking about the Alliance is that stat that I mentioned earlier about for every one student in an after school program, there are 4 waiting to get in. And I find like that's something that's easy for me to remember. It sticks in folks' minds and it kind of like pulls them in as something that's really important. But I know that lots of programs, sometimes you don't have the capacity to track a ton of different impact statistics, totally understand that. But we have a ton of really great creative stats that also work super well here. So you can include things like how many students or families you serve. That's super important. How many years you've been in the community. Love this one. And I think this also is a really great way to kind of show your staying power. And that's a really good indicator for local officials, city council members, so that they know that you're a good person. Your organization is a great person great org to team up with. Also, you can include survey data from students or families. That's stuff that you already have that you can just use for this elevator pitch, which is amazing. And if you don't have any program specific data, that's where we come in and all of the amazing research that I was talking about earlier. We have tons available on our website. We have state specific data available. We've got things about rural programs, STEM programs, you name it. We've got information on it. Also really important, make sure you're repeating the organization's name and identifying information. You could have the best elevator pitch in the world, but you also want to make sure that the person you're pitching to remembers who you are and where you're from and what organization you're with. Also love to include a compelling anecdote if you've got that as well. And last but not least, delivery is always important. That's something that we can easily forget when we're crafting a message, but I think it's just as important as the message itself. If your delivery doesn't really match the message, then the message is not going to be received or it could get overlooked. And remember that delivery includes tone, and body language, energy, all that jazz. So make sure you keep all those things in mind. So those are kind of all the do's for elevator pitches, and we'll quickly go over the don'ts as well. So jargon and acronyms. I know I'm guilty of this. 21 CCLC, ABCs, 1, 2, 3s. We have so many of these in OST, out of school time. So just make sure you're breaking down those acronyms that sometimes we take for granted. Make sure you know your audience so you know who might or might not know the acronyms that you're referring to. Make sure your elevator pitch isn't too complex. You've only got around 30 seconds. So you want to make sure that you're getting everything in there, and not making the person you're pitching too confused. And lastly, you really don't want to be using the same elevator pitch with different audiences. I kind of touched on that a little bit in the last slide, but you also might want to consider what's motivating the person that you're speaking with, not just their position. So for example, you could be talking to 2 different elected officials who might be interested in your program for very different reasons. Like one might want to hear about how your program helps keep kids safe while their parents are at work. Another one might want to hear about how your program helps kids build life skills, interact with their peers, mental health and well-being, social emotional learning. So just have that in mind when you're creating a pitch for someone, for sure. And so keeping all this in mind, I wrote up a little sample and I'm going to read it out loud, and I would love to get your thoughts on this after I read it. So, hi, my name is Sophie and I am the program director at Sunnyside Afterschool Program. We run 21st CCLC programming for students from all over the city. Our programs have really great results. Our kids love our programs. You should absolutely consider supporting Sunnyside Afterschool Program. So can anyone give me some pros from this example? You can come off mute. You can throw them in the chat.
It's geared towards parents and politicians or people in the community that might want to support the program as well?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, for sure. Awesome. Thank you so much.
It's very broad. It leaves people wanting to know more.
Mm-hmm.
So you gave enough information, but not enough information to where they can come to the open house or maybe inquire later on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Sure. Anything that I could have improved on, also opening the floor to that as well.
Since we are in the numbers game, you could have threw a couple of numbers in there if not.
Yes, absolutely. My favorite. That I'm missing a stat.
And what about the CCLC program? What is that?
I know, that's right. Yes, it's a 21st Century Community Learning Center program, but I didn't spell that out. That's exactly right.
When you mentioned all over the city, what city?
Exactly. Very good point. Oh my gosh.
And how would my child get there?
Yes. There. Oh my gosh, it's like you're reading my mind. Whoa. Whoa. So I had a feeling you all were going to pick up on these things. So I did draft another version. So I'm going to read that one next, and you all can tell me how I did. Hello, my name is Sophie, and I am the program director at Sunnyside Afterschool Program. We are a 21st Century Community Learning Center funded program serving 125 youth in 6th through 8th grade who attend Sunnyside Middle School. Our students participate in activities like robotics and theater. Our program has great results. In 2019, 98% of our 8th graders successfully transitioned to 9th grade on time. We would like to expand our programming to serve more students, but we cannot afford transportation home at the end of the day. We would appreciate your support with a grant to fund buses for students who do not live in walking distance from our program. So what do folks think? Any pros? What did I do differently in this elevator pitch that was better?
Way better.
Yes.
Way better.
You got the
You gave a lot
statistics.
of data that convinced me that if I'm on that elevator, because we did this with our board, it was a great exercise. It got me to the point where I would ask you for your business card because I'm getting ready to get off the elevator. So I know I got their interest if they ask me, can I have your business card?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. More information. Awesome. Love it. Anything else? I didn't even think about including the city in there. Next time we do this presentation, I'll make sure. We always get better and better with this every time we give this example. Also, yeah, ending with that call to action, I think is good. And having that transportation ask as well. It was like y'all were reading my mind before. Anything else in this sample? Awesome.
I don't see anything. What's in it for them?
That's a good point. That's a good question.
To get my interest, what am I going to get?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I think that's for a meeting, me personally.
Yeah, I could see it being for a meeting for sure. Well, now we're going to turn it back on you all. Oh, actually, no, wait. First, we got to go through all the things. I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. Yes. So the acronyms, 21st Century Community Learning Center funded program. Yep. Like y'all caught with the acronyms. And then kind of going into those specifics, 125 youth in 6th through 8th grade. Awesome. And then kind of describing more about the program, like robotics and theater. Awesome. And then, yes, my very favorite, we got a stat in there, 98% successfully transitioned to 9th grade. And then we're going into that call for action and that plan with the grant to fund buses for students who did not live in walking distance from our program. You can see those little bits in there. And I was getting ahead of myself, but now it is y'all's turn to practice crafting your own winning elevator pitch We promise we'll be very nice. Now everyone's going to take just a couple minutes to create their own individual elevator pitch. This can be to anybody that you all would like. It could be to a potential funder, a city council member, the president of the United States, if you want. I mean, I'm not going to stop you. A parent, staff recruitment, anything like that. And so consider the following when you're creating this elevator pitch. Think about, what do they prioritize? Why should they support you? What do you want them to do? Why is your work unique? And what are relevant stats and stories that you could share? And so what we're going to have you all do is maybe take, Tiyana, what do you think? 5, 7-ish minutes to work on your pitch?
Yes. 5 minutes. Let's try to see if that feels good with the group. Let's try to see if we can do 5 minutes, because I want to make sure we have enough time for folks to share. And it's 12:36 Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, let's do about 5 minutes. Maybe we can see how we look around like the 1 minute time frame to see if folks feel good about that, and then we can throw some more time if necessary. But let's start off with 5 minutes first.
Awesome. Okay, that sounds good. Feel free, if you want to turn your camera off while you're drafting and turn it back on, go for it. And we will give y'all a 1 minute warning and give you more time if you need it. And we'll leave this slide up so you can have it for reference as well. All right. How are folks doing? Do you need more time? Or are we ready to share out? All right, since I don't hear anything, are there any brave souls who would like to share? We'll have you read your pitch out loud, and we'll give you lots of love and just a little bit of feedback as well.
Okay, I'll go.
Yay.
Okay. I'm getting ready to get on the elevator, and Bill Gates is getting ready to get on with me. So he's going up to the penthouse. I got 30 seconds before we get up to the 18th floor. So I start off with, hi there, how are you doing? Okay, I'd like to, okay, I like the involvement that you have on whatever cause, XXX. And, that's one of the areas in which we want to transfer that knowledge to our young scholars. Being that the expert that you are, we would love for you or one of your staffers to come speak to our young scholars. This is important for our students to see and hear from you the great work that you are doing and how it is and will impact their future.
Okay, round of applause, everybody. Amazing. Okay, any feedback on that pitch from any folks? What did Coach B do well? We can start with that.
I like that he came out swinging, wanting to talk to Bill Gates. That was a good go-to.
Yes, absolutely. And loved the call to action at the end as well. His confidence, yes. Retweet, absolutely. Anything that we could have improved, added in? One thing I'll say is maybe just throwing in the name of throwing in your program in there and making sure that's hit home. And if you're, and maybe if you're given a business card at the end, he'll have that as well. So that'll be good. Anything else from folks? More information about his program. That's a good one for sure.
Some type of statistic.
Yep. Good one. Awesome. All right, great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for the feedback.
Of course, absolutely. Stephanie, do you want to share yours next?
Sure, I'll go. I'll try. I actually see Oprah Winfrey.
Yes.
in the elevator, and the elevator is closing, so I run over. I was like, oh my gosh, Oprah, I just have a line for you. Please listen to me. And so I have it all rehearsed. It's not going to take that long. Supporting SMJ House is invested in a proven initiative dedicated to tackling homeless to 5 impeccable years. With a 4-year track record in the U.S. SMJ House stands out for its holistic and dynamic approach, prioritizing comprehensive care and adaptability to address the diverse needs of homeless community. Your support empowers a unique solution that goes beyond shelter, making a lasting difference in our lives of those we serve. And you are the person that can really help us if you just take a moment. I have my card. Here's my card. Please give me a call. I don't mean to hold you up. Thank you. Love you. Have a nice day.
Oh, round of applause. Oh, Oprah, I love it. Oh my goodness.
And SMJ, it's an acronym. My name is Stephanie Melinda Johnson, and it stands for Seriously Motivating Juveniles.
Oh, I love that. Oh, amazing.
Thank you.
Great job. Great job. One thing I loved how you talked about the staying power of your organization and how long you've been there and the holistic and comprehensive work that you all do. That was amazing.
Okay, thank you. Any feedback? I accept constructive criticism.
Yes. Oh, amazing. Anything from the group? Yes. Love the enthusiasm as well. I thought that was awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't. Thank you. I didn't.
If you
Washington, D.C.
Washington, D.C. Wait a second. Okay, that's where I am. Okay, cool.
Ward 1.
Love it. Oh, that's amazing.
Columbia Heights area.
Oh my gosh, wait. Okay, I live so close. That's awesome.
Okay.
Very cool. Very cool. And if you wanted to include a stat in there, I think that would also be awesome, but really, really great job. That was great.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know. Do we have time for one more person to share theirs, Tiyana? What do you think?
Share. I think so.
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yes, go for it. Feel free. You can share yours, Kenyon. Oh, maybe. Maybe not.
I'll do it.
Oh, yeah, go for it, Michelle. Absolutely.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, you can hear me. Okay, it looks like you can't. For some reason, it says you can't. Okay, so let me try. Here we go.
Awesome.
Okay. All right, so I'm getting in the elevator with Michelle Obama. Okay. All right, Michelle.
I was going to use her.
I'm so glad to see you. Oh my God. I'm the program director of Sunnyside After School Program, and we are a futuristic learning community focusing on arts, cultural connection, robotics, and theater. We've been serving the Sunnyside middle schools for the last 6 years, and many of our 8th graders, actually 94% of our 8th graders have successfully completed our program with transferable skills that impact career training and or college choice pathways. So we're looking to expand our reach by providing options for transportation, more mentorship opportunities, and employment, and more. I'd love to get you involved and see if you could help. Well, I love to. I don't even know how to close. Hold on. Let me figure out how to close. It would be great if we could get access to funding to expand this program. Would you be able to offer any help or suggestions? Oh my God. I'm sorry. I just threw it up.
Applause, round of applause. Oh my gosh. I'm so impressed. That was amazing. And Michelle I feel like Michelle would absolutely be into it. What feedback do folks have? I loved how you threw that stat in there. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that was on the spot. Because I realized that was like, it did make sense, and it was like, it made sense there. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anything else from other folks?
I just want to say that the energy is really great. Out of all three of our guests today that presented, it's not easy to come on here and do a pitch on the fly. We still practice at this. So you all did great. You captivated me as soon as y'all started talking. So as soon as I felt the energy, I was like, I'm not sure what she's about to tell me. I'm not sure what he's about to tell me, but I'm hooked already. And I see that you all are trying to go where the money reside by trying to choose Oprah and Bill Gates and Michelle. Michelle just had a birthday, so we know she has some money somewhere. She probably got the birthday money.
Happy Michelle. Check on me.
Can I ask one question? So if I would have put like the opportunities of 1,000 individuals experiencing homeless with 90% success rate and 30% increase in successful outcomes year, showcasing effectiveness and adaptive. So that's my stats, correct?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's perfect. I love that. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I just had to tap it up so I can know exactly where I'm going. Thank you.
No, thank you. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Anybody else want to share their pitch before I pass it back to Tiyana?
If nobody says anything, is there any way that you can help me with that close though? Because that was frightening.
Oh my gosh. No worries. Okay, let's see. We can absolutely help you with that closeout. Will you say it one more? Will you say the first part of your pitch one more time, maybe, and we can work together and see what would work?
The first part was, okay, so I'm a program director at Sunnyside After School Sunnyside After School. I don't even know how to talk. Woo!
No worries.
Okay. All right, here we go. I'm a program director with Sunnyside After School Program, and we're a futuristic learning community focusing on arts, cultural connections, robotics, and theater. We've been serving Sunnyside Middle School students for the past 6 years, and our 8th graders successfully completed our program and with transferable skills that impact career training and career path or college path opportunities. Looking to expand our reach by providing options for transportation, mentorship opportunities, and employment, and much more. Here's where I need the help. How do I close it? I need to grab, what's the money bag line I need to add here?
Yes. You could say, I mean, in our sample, we talk about asking for a grant for funding. You could ask to have a meeting with someone to chat more about what funding opportunities could look like. Any other things that folks think would be good to add, that could be good to add into this ask? Yeah, you could close with that call to action, definitely. So it could be whether it's like having them come to your program. And it could depend on who you're at. And so maybe you were asking Michelle to come see it. Maybe you're asking Michelle for that grant. Or maybe you're just
I'd love to invite you to to come witness, to come participate. What do you want to let me think about it. I'd like to invite you to find out more about what go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Charles. You have something to add.
What I've found that is that's worked a few times is asking the mark how they think you could best go about, raising money for your bus system. Do you have any suggestions, Miss Obama, how we could raise money for these buses so we can get these kids here and there? And kind of get them involved and engaged in your process.
Okay.
That's
awesome. All right. That's good. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So Michelle, I bet you know how I could probably get some look at ways to get funding for this program. I would love your input. How about we schedule a meeting next week?
Yes. Oh, there we go. Okay. Love it. So you got tons of different ask options. I love it. Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you all so much.
This is recorded, right?
Okay. No, absolutely. The energy. And can we just give one more round of applause to everybody who just helped out? Because yes, you all did such a great job. And agreed, you're a natural. Absolutely. And I will pass it back to Tiyana to wrap us up because time flies when you're making really awesome elevator pitches. We're almost at the end.
All right. Thank you so much, Sophie, for coordinating that for us. And I'm going to bring us on home. So here are the tools and resources that I promised you all that we would go over towards the end of our session today. So there's plenty of information right here. I'm just going to highlight a couple of things that might be worthy for you to check out. So again, a lot of these resources that Sophie mentioned during the research portion is all linked right here. The program toolbox, I tell folks, whether you're learning to start a program, learning how to run your program, how to sustain your program, whether you're new or you're a veteran within this, check out our program toolbox so that way you can look at a whole plentiful list of resources that we have here. We go over, of course, funding. We go over curriculum, how to develop your volunteer management, things of that nature, staffing recruitment. That's a big thing. We have our staffing recruitment toolkit that's located right here. And then we also pulled it out as our following link that's on this page as well right here. So that way you can check that out if you're looking for staffing to join your program. The list of statewide after-school networks are linked here as well. I mentioned them earlier before as some of our allies. So if you are not connected with your statewide after-school network, please make sure you connect with them. So that way you are getting the resources first as we trickle it down from our headquarters down to our offices down in the states. Please make sure you connect with them. Also, the AIM High Grant program that I mentioned before is linked here as well. The application is still open. It closes on the 1st of February. There is enough time to get your application in there for those that serve middle school youth. So please check that out if you're not aware of that. And then also, we have blogs that we put up, the list of the after-school ambassadors that I mentioned again here as well. We have a lot of resources. I've mentioned that to you time and time again. So once you get this slide deck, feel free to go through this. If not, just feel free to go through all of our website because we have plenty more that's not even listed right here. And then also, we can't talk about messaging without talk about how you can follow us for more messaging and things of that nature. So here are our social media links right here. So that way you can follow us. We follow back. If there's things that you need for us to share within your communities, just let us know. We will share out within our network. We send out a lot of emails as well, a lot of wealth of information. So if you want to get subscribed to our newsletter, feel free to follow this link. You can actually tailor it to whatever you're liking. So if you're learning or wanting to know more about like STEM things, if you're wanting to learn more about policy, we have a way where you can curate what type of newsletter you get from us. And so with that being said, I think we have maybe 2 minutes or so to save for questions. If there's any questions that you have for Sophie and I, if not, if there's want to talk to us offline, here's our email address. Feel free to email us. We are here for you all. That's what we tell folks all the time. And this was a very quick presentation. We actually do a full-blown deeper dive presentation, but we gave you just a little nugget today. We do go to the national after-school conferences to actually present this in a more and greater depth. So the first one that we'll be going to is Beyond School Hours, which will be in the middle of February in New Orleans this year. So we'll be presenting there. We'll also be presenting at the National After School Association in March in Dallas this year. And then we'll also be at Boost, which is in Palm Springs, California. I think that is towards the end of April, beginning of May. So we'll be presenting there as well. I'm quite sure there's other conferences we'll be presenting at as well, but those are the ones that we're locked in for right now. So if you are going to those conferences, feel free to join our session again, so that way you can have a deeper dive, because there's so much more that we can cover when it comes to after school messaging. But if not, let me check the chat to see if we have any questions. Feel free to come off mute if you have any questions.
Are you guys in New York at all?
So we do have an after school network in New York. Yes. So
Okay.
if you get a chance to go to our website to see the network, and Sophie might be pulling it up as we're talking. We do have a great network that's out there in New York.
All right.
Where can I
Thank you
get
so much.
information? Where can I get information for those conferences you just named?
It's actually in our program toolbox. So if you go to our
Okay.
program toolbox, we do have a conference tab, and it goes over those top conferences that we have,
Okay.
not that we have coming up, but top conferences that are coming up throughout the US.
All right, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I noticed the grant is for the Chicago area. Is that anything available for Ohio as well?
Are you speaking of the AIM High grant?
Yeah.
So the AIM High is open to all 50 states.
Oh, okay. All right.
So yeah, anyone within the
As
U.S. can
funded
apply
by
for
the
that.
state of Ohio, state of Illinois.
So yeah, so we might have some folks that were past recipients from Chicago, or I know sometimes we do target states. Well, the New York Life Foundation, they have target states where they'll give additional points to states that they are really looking to put their investments in, and it's usually states that haven't been like past recipients of the grant within the past few years. So if you go to our website, I'll drop it here as we're talking. As AfterschoolAlliance.org/awards, you can learn more about the Aim High grant. And it will go over like those target states and the things that you're looking for specifically when it comes to applying for the grant. Oh, thank you, Sophie. Sophie's in here dropping things. And Anna, thank you, Anna.
Okay.
Any other questions before we wrap up today?
Charles, did you have one? Nope. Okay. All right, I'm going to say a couple things real fast. We're at exactly the top of the hour, so if we can get out within 60 seconds, that's my goal, or at least to wrap up myself. Okay, so you guys, it was brought to the room earlier, grants. So we have an After School HQ Facebook page. Anna, if you can drop that link again, that would be great. Anna on our team actually spends like our time to help you guys find grants. So if you connect with her within that Facebook group, you can tell her about your program, the states that you're in. We can help find you grants. We also have someone that is a grant writer that we're connected with who can potentially partner with you, and you can do a whole like pairing with them, a consultation to see if you can have someone write a grant for you. So we have loads of resources in our Facebook page if anybody wants to jump in there. We will be sending this recording out to everyone who joined. We'll be sending, I think I'll connect about getting that PowerPoint sent out to everyone. We'll make sure that you guys have all of the resources that are needed. We do one of these webinars, at least right now it's once a month. There's another one coming next month where we're working with someone. So again, all of that will be posted in our Facebook group. Trey on our team is going to hang out for just a couple minutes, I believe, in case anybody wanted to talk to him about our platform as Afterschool HQ, keeping this super, super short. Earlier, impact metrics were mentioned, statistics. We actually help youth program providers as Afterschool HQ as a platform be able to have those stats and statistics internally. So we can talk to you about that too. But I am going to wrap up. Thank you so much, Tiyana, and thank you, Sophie. If you guys need to drop off and jump into other meetings, we really appreciate your time. And I will be sending out, you guys and I will connect to make sure that we have all of the information that you want to get out to the room to everyone that's here. But thank you again.